It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for, hey, maybe we can check off something on the bingo card if my computer doesn't have any issues.
Here's hoping.
Listen, it's a freaking game changer at this point if I can actually use my computer for what I freaking bought it for a year plus ago.
As long as we don't have a crash, we're good.
Yeah, here's open. Greg Cherry and Matty Laws along with you. And I'll tell you what, like, there is so much going on this month as far as wrestling goes, as far as football goes. Both of our teams are in the NFL playoffs. Whether they'll make it any further than this weekend remains to be seen.
Absolutely no idea why or how Denver got in. But Bo Nix is really good, so there's that.
I mean, the Chiefs basically, like, laid down, like, the Triple H Shawn Michaels European title match from 1997, where the Chiefs were Shawn Michaels and the Broncos were Triple H. That's what happened this weekend.
Yeah, no, legit. Just lay down, let the pinfall happen, and that's, yeah.
It's
I'll take it.
Hey, Cincinnati, fuck you.
No, you know what? I'll take it. Denver Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs 38-0 with their Super Bowl winning quarterback Carson Wentz. So we beat the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who beat the Lions. Was it Tampa?
No, the Lions won because the Lions beat the Vikings.
No, I know, but who beat the Lions this year?
The Bills did. I forget which other team beat the Lions.
I can't remember who it is because I remember during the Raw Ball stream.
I feel like it was early in the season too, like week 2 or 3.
I think it was very early. All I remember is with the Broncos beating the Chiefs, and the Broncos beat a team that beat the Lions this year. I don't remember who that second team is. But, yeah, Broncos, best team in the NFL. We're winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, you wouldn't be the first team to do it from the final seed, but
no, and I'm really kind of hoping for Denver Broncos, Washington Commanders Super Bowl. I know it's definitely not the Super Bowl anybody in America wants.
So you versus Maven is what you want.
Yeah, rookie versus rookie.
There you go.
It would guarantee the first ever rookie to win a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback.
Yeah. Daniel saying he's glad that the Detroit Lions are the number 1 seed and that they got a bye week and well deserved 15-2 season.
And they beat the hell out of the Vikings.
Yeah, Tampa Bay was the other team to beat Detroit.
Yeah, and we beat Tampa.
I work retail, and the holidays are super busy for us, as you know. Yep. I worked at a grocery store. Like, that was my first job, and during Christmas time, it was insane. Just wanted you to know I binged the Wrestling Trivia Challenge on my lunch to keep me sane. Hey, there's a lot of them. It's hard to believe. Like, it's been 3 years since we just stopped doing the series. And it's one of those things where it's like, after 6 years of holding the championship, what am I supposed to do? You know, like 7 now, but it's like unless I get like somebody in the wrestling world who just, if Howard Finkel was still alive and was like in a condition to do it, that would probably be the peak.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, that's not possible.
Was Fink known for being a big-time wrestling trivia guy?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He absolutely was. He pretty much knew anything about anything. Like
he ring called damn near, 2 decades for WWE?
At least, yeah. Like he was the very first Vince McMahon hire, I believe. I think it was.
If I remember correctly, yeah.
So to have that under your belt and basically study your workplace for many, many years, yeah. He was really the top dog as far as wrestling trivia would go. But unfortunately, like the wrestling trivia boom didn't really happen until like pandemic era. So. And you know, we probably will. Like, there's nothing else for me to do as far as the wrestling trivia world is. I have my championship. I got my 1,000+ days. It's past 2,000 now. So one thing I might do is like I might do a live version of the Greg Cherry Show on the day that I break San Martino's record and defend the title one last time, and then call it quits.
Should do a gauntlet match.
See that I wanted to do the gauntlet match, and we actually started recording that a couple years ago, and then like a whole bunch of shit came up, and schedules were just impossible to match. So it unfortunately
it's hard to get a bunch of people lined up for one day, one time, and for a lineup.
So there is a lost episode of the Greg Cherry Show, or not the Greg Cherry Show, but Wrestling Trivia Challenge that has never made the air. I still have it, but it's never made air. It was the original first match of the gauntlet that was supposed to happen. So it was myself and I believe, was it Dwayne Atkinson? I believe that's who it was. I can't remember. It's been 2 years. But it was that match that happened, and you know, Jeff was hosting as he normally would. And like I said, it's never seen the light of day because A, the gauntlet in full never happened, and B, Jeff fucked up the answer, like the total answers that I got right. So it's best that we left that lie. It may make the air someday as like a, hey, this is kind of cool. This is like a lost episode of Trivia Challenge, but I never edited it or anything like that.
Oh, don't worry about us getting off track. There's no such thing as a track whenever it comes to the Greg Cherry Show.
No, this is a wide open field. We don't have like a certain. Do you think I make run sheets for this show? I don't do any of that.
I can't read.
We just have like bullet points that we try to hit, and if we do, we do. Sometimes we spend an hour on one topic. Not going to be the case tonight because we got a couple things to talk about.
Yeah.
College football playoff. We're down to the Final Four. Tomorrow, Notre Dame and Penn State in the Orange Bowl. And then Friday, it's Ohio State versus Texas in the Cotton Bowl, which that's basically a home game for Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that there's possible snow there.
Oh, there's expected snow?
Yeah, there's expected snow in Texas, which is very weird.
It's going to be crazy for a Texas game to be played in the snow. That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, well, the Texas atmosphere might favor Texas in that game, but the snow may favor Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. Them fans are going to be cheering just to keep themselves warm.
Mm-hmm. I can't imagine, like, when people went to that Chiefs – who's the Chiefs play in that game last year where it was like -30 wind chill?
That was Buffalo, I believe.
Well, no, it wasn't Buffalo.
No, was it Pittsburgh?
No, because Buffalo played Pittsburgh. Like the Buffalo game with like the 5 feet of snow, that was the game Pittsburgh went to.
It wasn't Miami because I swear Miami played Buffalo.
No, I think it was Miami.
Was it Miami?
I'm pretty sure it was Miami.
B. Mitch says Dolphins. I feel like it was the Dolphins, but I thought they were playing the Bills, so that could have been my bad.
No, the Steelers played the Bills in the wild card last year,
and their game was cold as shit too.
With Mitch Trubisky, with Trubisky heading the Steelers offense, you can probably guess how that went. But yeah, College football playoff, yeah. Ohio State and Texas is Friday. Of course, my Notre Dame Fighting Irish and Penn State Nittany Lions, who is my wife's team. It's a very interesting game here because Jen's going to root for Penn State. Most of my dad's side of the family is going to root for Penn State because they live out that way. And my dad and I are going to root for the Irish.
I'm going to be voting. I'm going Irish with you. So
it's going to be, and I've said this before, it's going to be the toughest defense that Penn State has faced. Because Boise State and SMU, I feel like Penn State has had the cupcake schedule as far as the tournament has gone. Mm-hmm. Now there's really no excuse for them. Because Ohio State's defense, too, shutting down Oregon like they did, is not going to be easy for Penn State to deal with should they win the Orange Bowl. It's not going to be easy for Notre Dame to deal with either. But again, Ohio State still has to get through Texas. Texas, I feel like defensively is going to be in trouble, even in their home state, whether there's snow there or not. I feel like the fact that the Arizona State game was so close, the fact that it went to double overtime is going to be something that's going to favor the Buckeyes because Texas has said they had the overtime game against Georgia for the SEC championship. And then they did it again in the playoffs. Ohio State's like, we're not going to overtime. We're just going to beat you down. So early predictions right now, the way I feel about things right now, Notre Dame wins a close one. Ohio State blows out Texas. That's the way I feel about it. And should Ohio State and Notre Dame play each other in the national championship, that's going to be two solid defenses going up against each other. That one should be a much closer affair than either team has faced so far. But again, I'm really, really hoping that I can celebrate a national championship on January 20th. Really hoping that's happening. I know you're not a college guy, but do you have any...
dude, no. But I've at least followed these, bigger teams, the top 25 throughout the season. Yeah. And I hate to be boring for everybody, but I got to go Notre Dame and Ohio State as well. I think Notre Dame has been on fire on offense. Like, it's been really hard. It's been really hard to stop them. And like you said, Notre Dame's defense is stout. It is solid as a rock. I think they beat Penn State in the offense. In the offensive category, I think Notre Dame just barely ekes it out. So like you said, a close game there. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's going to be a closer game. If it's snowing in Texas, they're not going to air it out near as much. So both teams are going to be running it up the gut. There's going to be a much more smash mouth game as well. Yeah. But I think Ohio State wins the battle up front.
I think so too. It could be, if the snow is that much of a factor for Ohio State and they don't air it out as much, it might be a closer game than we think because Ohio State has a good aerial attack. We saw that in the game against Oregon.
And Texas has a pretty solid run game as well. So,
I mean, all four teams that have made it to this point deserve to have made it to this point. I hate when people say, oh, the seeding was all wrong, or, other teams should have made the playoffs, or whatever the case may be. Listen, the seeding was just fine the way it is. Like, everybody going in knew the rules. Everybody going in, winning a conference championship, they knew what they were getting into. Arizona State, I feel like, got a little bit disrespected against Texas because everybody thought Texas was just going to blow them out, and Arizona State almost won the damn thing. But Oregon, who was undefeated, there's really no excuse for them. It's like, you guys knew what you were undefeated, you were getting a bye. You knew what was going to happen. And then you still let Ohio State go up 34-0 on you last week. Like, come on. Like, I don't like people making excuses like that. And Georgia, yes, I know Georgia had a backup quarterback in Gunnar Stockton, and they didn't have Carson Beck. Quite frankly, I don't think that would have mattered last week, the way Notre Dame's defense was playing.
I will say, B. Mitch did point out, they're playing at Jerry World. They're at the AT&T Stadium, so they're going to be in a dome.
Oh,
So
why
that
did I think the Cotton Bowl was outside?
so yeah, that completely invalidates a good 2 minutes of that conversation, but that opens up the aerial game for both teams.
Yes,
So
it
this
does.
game could now be blown wide open by either side.
Why did I not know that the Cotton Bowl was in AT&T? I could have sworn it was at a different venue.
I thought it was outdoors too.
Um, well, Notre Dame, Penn State's in
It
Miami.
used to be many years ago at Cotton Bowl season.
But I guess since they moved the playoff locations around for the 12-team playoff, that they're doing it that way, which, whatever.
But yeah, still, I still have it being Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Which is fine. And tomorrow's going to be a very interesting game because Penn State is a high electric offense as well. Again, we saw that against SMU. We saw it against Boise State. However, Indiana in the first round was the second highest scoring offense in all of college football. Notre Dame held them to 3 points for the first 58 and a half minutes of that game.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about the garbage time touchdowns because, like, yeah, you scored a touchdown. You got, like, the best onside kick I've probably ever seen. Like, the bounce was just perfect, and then you scored again.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like you're not going to get that every time. So, like, congratulations to Indiana for making that happen, but you just made the score look less like you got your ass beat.
Yeah, you made it look slightly more competitive when it wasn't.
No, it was not at all.
Franklin isn't great in clutch games. Notre Dame by 10.
10 is bold. 10 is absolutely bold. I might take the money line on the Irish. I'm not going to bet on that game because I don't bet on my teams. I just, as a rule,
I do.
Here's the thing. I don't bet on my teams because I have too much bias, and I know that. So I try and stay away from bets on my teams. Like the parlays that I've won this season, I did not bet on Pittsburgh.
And they were spreads. Which, by the way, taking Notre Dame by 10, the spread is a pick 'em. It's 1.5 as the spread.
Yeah. The spread is not that big. I would, don't get me wrong, I would love to see a Notre Dame victory by 10 points against Penn State. I don't know if it's going to happen. And James Franklin has the same aura around him that Brian Kelly does in big game situations.
None.
Pretty much. Because Brian Kelly has been known to choke in those games that matter. That's why a lot of Notre Dame fans nicknamed him Big Game Brian, because that's what happened. He shows up to the game and then gets his ass kicked. I don't know if that's going to happen with James Franklin and Penn State, and I don't want to assume it's going to happen because obviously I want to believe in my team. I want to believe in the Irish, but at the same time, like, I don't want to disrespect what Penn State has done. That their only two losses were to two teams in the playoffs: Oregon in the Big Ten championship and Ohio State by 7 earlier this season. So it's not like they got their ass kicked somewhere along the line. They've been in competitive games. So, yeah, I don't want to revisit that Alabama game. Trust and believe. I turned that game at halftime and watched Raw instead. I was completely over what Brian Kelly showed up with to that national championship game. Completely abysmal. And he never recovered. Yeah, he went to the playoffs a couple times, but the same thing happened. Same thing happened with 2020 against Alabama, and then the year before or 2 years before against Clemson. Blah.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say Bama again at that last one.
No, like Notre Dame and Bama in the last 15 years has been very one-sided. But that was also because Brian Kelly was the coach, and Brian Kelly just whatever in big games. It wasn't good.
This is a big sports weekend for you though, Greg.
It is.
Not only Notre Dame in there. Pittsburgh's got a chance to, as you Yinzers say, Steelers going Super Bowl.
Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Is that song just in Pittsburgh, or have people around the country heard that?
So, like, I've heard it, but mostly because I watch a lot of sports YouTube. Have yourself a great night, B. Mitch.
Yes, B. Mitch. Very much appreciate you being in the chat.
But I do know that Steelers going to the Super Bowl song because I've watched a lot of sports YouTube videos, mostly historical ones.
I also want to throw this comment up while I'm thinking about it. Just because you can support with the super chats, you can also support with joining the Royal Raffle. The link to directly donate to the pool is in there. So if you want to directly donate to the pool and not go through the whole like going on PayPal and like entering the address and everything, donating that right to the pool, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I don't think you have to worry about the friends and family option. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, Pittsburgh has a chance against Baltimore. And I say they have a chance, but I'm using the terminology very loosely here because Mike Tomlin in January is very much like Brian Kelly in big games. It's sad to see. At least Tomlin has a Super Bowl championship to his name, so there's that. But I feel like
he's got a Super Bowl.
He's been coasting on that reputation for about 15 years now, and I'm kind of over it.
Oh, I was about to say, the reputation is the standard, and the standard is the standard.
He is one hell of a smooth talker. I'm telling you what. If there's one thing that I can say about Tomlin is that he has a way with words.
He does know how to talk his way out of situations. Or he'll just walk off the podium.
I just don't understand the inconsistency with this team. I don't. Like, at points, they look like they were legitimate Super Bowl contenders, and now I don't think they could compete in the college football playoff. Like, I think it's that bad.
Yeah, look at the first 10 weeks of the season, and then everything after those first 10 weeks.
They were 10-3 4 weeks ago.
And they finished the game without having a win after that point.
Yep.
Trust me, if Kansas City didn't do the old lie down, your boy wouldn't be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, Cincinnati would have been in instead, and I would have preferred that even less. So you've essentially got the gauntlet that's being thrown down in front of you right now because
when picking straws, Denver definitely got the shortest straw here.
Yeah, you get Buffalo in Buffalo. Have fun with that, buddy.
Yeah, not only is it going to be cold, not only is it going to be windy, but we're facing a Buffalo team that is nuclear hot. Nuclear hot.
And I know you're not the biggest Josh Allen fan.
Oh no! I'm about to be humbled, aren't I, Greg?
You might be. However, like if we look, I believe it was last year that the Broncos beat Buffalo on Monday Night Football.
I'm praying to the 12th man on the field. Trust me.
Yeah. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Every team legitimately has a chance. On paper, it doesn't look like it, but every team, you never know how a game is going to go.
Oh yeah, like we're gonna run through each one by one here in a second, but yeah, every team in the playoffs right now in this super wild card weekend have a reason to be here, except for Houston. Houston was just in the worst division. Houston, sophomore slump. I think C.J. Stroud pulls his head out of his ass next year.
I feel like every college football playoff argument that's like, oh, there's too many teams. Some teams didn't belong. They need to look at the NFL playoff and the way it's set up. It's like you have conference division champions that have a losing record. So I don't want to hear your complaints when you have 134 teams in Division I college football and 12 make it. I don't want to
Greg,
hear a damn thing.
There's 32 teams in the NFL, and over half of them make the playoffs.
Well, just about half. It's 14.
Just about half.
Yeah. And that hasn't always been the case. It used to just be 12, and they expanded it to 14 a few years ago.
It's kind of wild that we're looking at football at that lens.
Listen, I wouldn't mind a 16-team college football playoff, which means that nobody gets a bye. But I also think that means you eliminate the conference championships. Because
hell, I saw somebody say that they should do the March Madness.
At that point, you'd only have 8 games in the regular season.
Valid.
Yeah, and you would eliminate conference championships completely because what's the point at that point?
Yeah, also valid. All right, let's get into these playoff games real quick. Okay. So there's a doubleheader on Saturday, triple header on Sunday, and then a solo Monday game.
I hate the Monday games.
I wish that there was 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday.
Yeah, that's
I don't like the doubleheader on Saturday.
Do a 1 o'clock because you're not competing with college because college games are on Thursday and Friday this week. Mm-hmm. So do 1 o'clock, 4:30, 8 o'clock Saturday, 1 o'clock, 4:30, 8 o'clock Sunday.
Exactly.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo. You don't need a Monday.
Instead, in the afternoon slate on Saturday, it's the Chargers and the Texans. No football on in the morning. Chargers, Texans. Who do you got, Greg, and why?
I feel like as much as I don't care for Jim Harbaugh, I feel like the Texans, like you said, were in a terrible division in the AFC South. I don't see them making it past the wild card. So give me the Chargers for that one.
All right. And the Chargers, once again, that game is if my FanDuel will go back, that is a 2.5 point spread.
That's it.
I am taking Houston here. I feel like Houston has just a more consistent offense. LA has issues with their wide receivers dropping passes to left to right and center. I think Houston's offense just pulls them through there. The evening game, Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Let me tell you how frustrated I was with the Steelers' performance on Sunday, or Saturday, rather. I knew as soon as they lost that game, I was like, and then seeing the Chargers were playing the Raiders, I was like, that's fantastic. We're going to have to go to a playoff game in Baltimore, which was just not fun for anybody involved. I figured if we got the 5th seed and we played Houston instead, that may give us a shot for a playoff win. But going into Baltimore with Lamar Jackson as hot as he is.
Derrick Henry as hot as he is.
Yeah, Derrick Henry as hot as he is. Here's the thing. Baltimore's record against Pittsburgh in the playoffs is not a good one. They have 1 win in the entire playoff series against Pittsburgh. I think that'll probably change. I want to believe in Pittsburgh. I do. I want to see Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl again. I just don't think, unless they pull their heads out of their ass from the last month that they've been playing, that this is the team to do it. I hate to do this. I'm picking Baltimore.
FanDuel has this at a 9.5 point spread in the favor of Baltimore. If you were to go money line for Pittsburgh, that is a plus 440. I'm taking Pittsburgh here.
I hope you're right. Again, this is not a game I bet on, but the fact that Baltimore's offense is the way that they are, and the fact that it's in Baltimore, I want to believe in this. I do.
I remember on Sunday looking at Devin because the seeding happened after the Sunday games.
Yeah.
And I looked at Devin and I was like, you guys are going to lose to Pittsburgh at home. I feel like everything's going to fire on all cylinders. Pittsburgh's defense is going to be a brick wall. And I feel like the connection between Russ and Pickens is going to be on point the entire game. Like, I see over 100 yards for Pickens on Saturday.
You know what would be an amazing thing to happen? And this is probably the only way the Steelers make the Super Bowl, is if the AFC Championship was Pittsburgh-Denver.
I believe it's possible.
It is possible because if you guys beat the Bills, the Steelers beat the Ravens, the Steelers would go on to play whoever wins Texans-Chargers game. Then you guys would have to go and beat Kansas City in Kansas City. I feel like
the Steelers possible.
It is. The Steelers would win their game if you guys got past Kansas City, Steelers, Denver, in Pittsburgh.
Because you guys have the better record.
Because we have the better record, we have the better seeding, yeah. So
it's entirely possible. It's
that would be some wacky
We would have to stream that. You would have to come on stream for that game.
I probably would. Like, honestly, for the AFC Championship, I probably would.
Yeah, it's possible. But moving on to Denver and Buffalo, this game is almost as far apart as Baltimore-Pittsburgh at 8.5 as the spread.
I'll tell you what, the bettors do not like Pittsburgh at all.
No, the fact that they have you guys as 1 point, I feel like Denver has a bigger chance of getting blown out by Buffalo.
I do too. That's why I'm surprised that the spread is so high for Baltimore and Pittsburgh, because if the Pittsburgh defense stepped up with AFC North football, that is easily like a 20-17 game.
That's another reason why I think I chose Pittsburgh. It's AFC North football. It is so unpredictable.
So much weird shit happens with AFC North.
But yeah, Denver, Buffalo, in Buffalo. Greg, what are your thoughts, and why are we losing by 20?
I love you, brother, but you are. Listen, Bo Nix may do some fantastic things, but I feel like this is a year Josh Allen's not going to be denied of a Super Bowl. I just feel that way. I think he's on a mission. If him and Kansas City face each other again and he loses again, he's going to get that like Mike Tomlin, Brian Kelly thing of you can't win the big game.
If he beats Patrick Mahomes and goes on to the Super Bowl, and not only that, brings the first ever title to Buffalo, I will not be able to talk shit on him at all.
Listen, I still talk some shit on Lamar Jackson, who's been a great player this year. Let's put that on the table. However, that being said, he still has not brought a Lombardi to Baltimore. Flacco did, but Lamar hasn't. So, like, you got to play.
But Joe Flacco was elite.
Do you know how he had one good playoff series? And I had so much. It's like, oh, Joe Flacco's elite. It's like, Joe Flacco can kiss my ass.
Look, this man was able at 40 years old to get off of his couch and win 10 games. If that's not elite, I don't know what is.
He's a decent quarterback. Okay, I don't want to give Flacco. Yes, he won a Super Bowl. I don't want to give him all the credit. And it bothers me so much that they make that joke when Roethlisberger won 2, and they won't even put him in the tier of great quarterbacks. It's like,
I put Roethlisberger in the tier of great quarterbacks.
Some people don't, though. Like, some people think that Big Ben was a bad quarterback.
Look, I have no idea how you can look at 6'5", 250 pounds, being able to look downfield and choose to take off and get 20 yards. Ben Roethlisberger was a different animal, dude.
He absolutely was. And he is a quarterback. I don't think I'll ever see anything like that in my life again. Riley Leonard.
I have to agree.
Riley Leonard may be the closest to a Big Ben that I could think of.
How big is Riley Leonard?
Well, Riley Leonard, I think, is a taller quarterback. I think he's like 6'1", 6'2".
But yeah, no, this is the year. I mean, unless Josh Allen wins MVP, in which case that solidifies him not winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But this is definitely probably Josh Allen's best season, and he had an insane season last year.
Riley Leonard's 6'4", by the way.
That's a big motherfucker.
And he takes off with the ball. So
okay.
I would not complain whatsoever if the Steelers drafted Riley Leonard. Because Riley Leonard is the type of guy who's a mobile quarterback. He can throw the ball. And if you get him behind the right offensive line, like, he's golden.
I mean, okay. Hear me out. If
Maybe
the
that's
Chargers
just me putting over the Irish. But
if the Chargers find a way to get more solidified offensive line, Justin Herbert is kind of a Ben Roethlisberger archetype because he's got a cannon for an arm. He's 6'5". He can run his ass off. And he's got very good on-field IQ as well. Roethlisberger was always very smart.
Good to hear from you, Zach. I know the stuff that happened in New Orleans last week was just brutal for that area. But at least, like you said, Notre Dame won in your backyard, so that's very healthy. And you think Detroit and Kansas City for the Super Bowl?
Detroit's the biggest odds on. That's the biggest odds on favorite for the Super Bowl this year.
I mean, they're both the number one seed, so I feel like that's an easy way to go. But we've seen throughout the years, number one seeds do not always meet each other in the Super Bowl.
It's very rare when it happens, actually. All right, Green Bay going to Philly. What are your thoughts on that? And last I saw, Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol, but there's still 4 days until the game.
That's going to be tough because if Jalen Hurts can't go, that means the Eagles are relying on Kenny Pickett.
And I think Pickett's hurt.
Pickett's hurt too. Shit.
I think Pickett's hurt. They're on what's his name? Tyler McKee?
Who?
Tanner McKee? Let me check real quick.
That's bad. Like, I don't even know who that is.
Philadelphia Eagles QB. Tanner McKee. Yep. If you input generic white quarterback into Google Translate, you'd probably get Tanner McKee.
Yeah.
Man's got a farmer's tan in his fucking NFL picture. Holy shit. But he was able to beat the Giants on Sunday, so that's something.
I'm trying to see the seeds.
Hey, I'm not sleeping on Denver. I'm not sleeping on him. I've seen Bo Nix. I've seen the magic he's able to work this year. I just have no idea if we're going to be able to stop potentially 40 points from the Bills, who have put up 40 points on a lot of people this year.
Yeah.
I, of course, am going to go for Denver, but in no way, shape, or form do I actually think we're going to win.
No.
Because Josh Allen in January is another animal as well.
He is. And again, it's in Buffalo. Like, Buffalo has home field advantage.
Oh, yeah.
Play into their favor. Well, they have home field advantage unless they play Kansas City.
Truth.
So, as long as the Chiefs don't make the AFC Championship, they should be fine. So yeah,
But
I'm Buffalo for that.
yeah, I'm going Denver for that. But yeah, Green Bay, Philly. Who do you think for that?
I think I got to go with the Packers. Is Jordan Love? Jordan Love's back in, right?
Jordan Love was also dealing with an elbow injury, but I don't think it's going to affect him going into Saturday.
I saw that Christian Watson is
Oh
suffering
yeah,
from.
Christian Watson's out. His knee might not keep him available for the entire playoffs.
Yeah, so I'm probably still going to go the Packers
Yeah,
because
Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs are nobody to sleep on.
No. So depending on the Eagles' situation, if Jalen Hurts can play, then I'd probably take the Eagles. But if not, I'm probably going to go with the Packers.
I'm going to take the Eagles on the fact that Saquon Barkley has just been unstoppable. Tanner McKee, I feel like, with Devontae Smith, with A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Saquon, he's got more than enough weapons to kind of coast him to a victory here. As long as the Eagles' defense doesn't fuck up, because Josh Jacobs has also been eating people all year long.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go Philly here, regardless if Jalen Hurts is there or not.
Mm-hmm.
Does Dion jump ship to the NFL to coach Shador? And if you have number one in Tennessee, who do you take? Well, Tennessee, I think, is taking Shador no matter what.
Which
do you think they take Cam Ward?
Here's the thing with Shador Sanders. I obviously don't think he's the best quarterback in the draft. He gets a lot of praise. He gets a lot of media attention because he's the son of Deion Sanders.
It's insane that outshined Jalen Milroe's performance all year.
Well, Jalen Milroe was on an Alabama team that underperformed too, which Colorado did as well. But again, the media is not in love with Alabama this year as much as they are with Colorado. Like Colorado's like the media darling because of Deion Sanders and Travis.
We got a gold star.
Hunter won Heisman, but I don't know. I am not sold on Shador Sanders. Like I think he was good as a college quarterback. I don't know how it's going to amount. I don't know, again, with his attitude that he has in college, if that's going to amount to a successful career in the
NFL. And on the other point, did Tennessee fire their head coach?
I can only imagine.
Yeah, they didn't have a good year. Very valid. I don't know if I see Dion jumping ship to coach. I don't think that happens.
Not unless it's offered to him. But then what did Colorado do? Because you lose all that media attention as soon as Dion leaves.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he leaves, Colorado, I think, falls right back to where we were literally 3 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, the Tennessee head coach is still there. Okay.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. I mean, I can see him getting offered, but I don't see Dion jumping ship, especially since Dion said he wants to help, Colorado for the future years to come. So I don't know. And yes, the Packers defensive coordinator has been much better this year. And the reason that is because it wasn't Joe Barry.
All right.
You guys were surprising. Like, your offense is much better now that Matt Canada's gone. Who'd have thought?
I could have coached a better offense than Matt Canada. Okay, let's be honest here. Like Arthur Smith isn't exactly blowing people away, but he's easily better than Canada. I say that though because the Steelers were 10-7 last year and they're 10-7 this year. So I don't know. Like
the offense was definitely better this year.
The offense was better, but like.
Does that mean that your defense regressed?
I don't know.
All right. The Sunday night game, Washington at Tampa. I think Washington dog walks Tampa here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Washington as well. Baker Mayfield will probably have a decent game.
Oh, he's probably going for 300 yards.
But I feel like the Commanders will show why they dominated the NFC East. So,
and the spread is an even 3 points in that game in favor of Tampa.
Really?
And then the Monday night game, Minnesota going to the Rams in a pick'em game. 1.5 is the spread, and it is in favor of the Vikings. Shocker.
As it should be. I mean, well, the Vikings are 14-3, and they're in the wild card.
I think this is the most successful wild card team in NFL history. But the extra game, kind of helps.
It does, but
still, if you look at it in a different light, a 14-2 team getting in the wild card is wild.
So yeah, give me the Vikings in this one.
I'm taking the Vikings as well. They're just the most
well-rounded the Vikings team. Got their ass, like they got belt to ass from Detroit, but
once again,
the Rams are no Detroit Lions. Yeah,
I was about to say Detroit is Detroit, and once again, they put a bunch of points up on everybody.
They did. Zach's bringing up that some teams want to trade for Mike Tomlin like the Broncos did with Sean Payton. Let me tell you something. If the Steelers don't win on Saturday, I think the Steelers should take a team up on this. I really do. Because if there is a ceiling with Mike Tomlin that is just non-losing seasons and that's all you're going to get, we're not going to stay. Pittsburgh fans have been spoiled, okay? We have been spoiled watching great teams in this era, especially when in the last 20 years, since 2004, no losing seasons for Pittsburgh. That includes the last few years of Coach Cowher.
Which is among sports history for some of the best streaks for winning seasons.
Yeah. I think there's no question that's an impressive streak. But the fact that the Steelers' last Super Bowl appearance was in 2011.
Which they won.
2010 season, 2011 Super Bowl took place. They haven't been back since. They made an AFC championship and then got dog-walked by the Patriots, which is a natural.
Nobody was stopping that Patriots team.
You have no idea how glad I am that that reign of terror from New England is over.
but
I would not be
trade.
I would not be
to trade.
If Tomlin takes the Steelers team to the Super Bowl and wins it, I rescind everything. And it's like, okay, you know what? I was wrong. You were right. Tomlin stays in Pittsburgh, probably finishes his career here. But if they get dog walked by Baltimore on Saturday, then yeah, get them out. Thank you for all you've done. You got us one more ring. You got us our 6th ring. But you haven't done shit in 15 years. Okay? That's the state of the NFL. It's a what have you done for me lately league. Jared Bailey said the same thing. You can't coast on that much success. You just can't without
It's a very valid statement. It's a very valid statement that it's a what have you done for me lately? Like, look how quick they got rid of Robert Saleh, and 2 years ago they were saying he was the savior of the team.
Yeah, but again, that's the Jets.
But what the team that would trade for Tomlin would have to be a team that's looking for success now. Like they think they have a window, like a Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, I feel like I think the Cowboys are keeping Mike McCarthy though, aren't they? Or did they?
I think I did hear that because Chicago was wanting to interview for him and they denied it. They said, do you see the Vikings re-signing Sam Darnold in the offseason?
I'll tell you what, I think Darnold has, and this pains me to say because he was a USC quarterback, he's had a career renaissance in Minnesota. because he was barely middle of the road the rest of his career. With Minnesota, he has taken off.
You want to know what would piss a lot of people off, but would be the smartest thing for Minnesota to do? Slap him with the franchise tag.
Maybe very well. Granted, J.J. McCarthy will be coming back from injury next year, so
you want to see what the rookie you drafted top 10 does, but you also don't want to lose something good.
The Vikings are in a very touch-and-go situation. So,
but there's also no guarantee that this is a one-year wonder for Sam Darnold.
That's true. I mean, he may very well have a ceiling. We'll see that in the playoffs.
It's very interesting for Minnesota. I say slap Sam Darnold with the franchise tag. Let JJ develop. He just tore his damn meniscus. So, give him some time to get his reps in. Maybe, of course, give him a couple preseason games. Give him one more full year to develop behind a quarterback that knows what he's doing. And get him real close with KOC. Get him real close with the quarterback's coach, because if they still see him as their future, they should build him as such. Look at what the Packers did with Jordan Love.
Let me tell you how weird this situation is. There is a strong possibility that I could still be rooting for Notre Dame to do well in the playoffs and the Steelers are eliminated. That is a chance that could happen.
You could just give up on the NFL entirely.
If tomorrow goes well and Saturday goes poorly, it's a possibility that I'm rooting for Notre Dame deeper in January than I am Pittsburgh.
It's kind of depressing.
It's something that's never happened before because the national championship is typically earlier, but since the 12-team playoff happened, it's obviously later now. So it's a weird feeling. But also, before the show ends, I want to bring this up. So I told you and Jeff that Jen ordered me a Christmas gift.
Yes.
She ordered it like 2 weeks before Christmas. And the shipment was crazy delayed. Like, it hadn't even shipped until, like, after Christmas.
Oh, damn. So it took a minute.
So, yeah, we actually got the order refunded, but they still sent us the package anyway.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's the best timing.
Oh, it's the best. But what makes this even better is that this is the Christmas gift in question that I got for absolutely free. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yes. And a full refund. Atta baby, Greg. That is beautiful.
Got me a Winged Eagle Championship. Boom. Motherfucking free.
That is fucking beautiful.
I know. It's the best looking championship, and I'm so happy with it.
It's not the best looking championship.
Yes,
we can do an entire episode on
that shit. Yes, it is.
It is a damn gorgeous belt, though. Oh, bro.
Block logo and everything. WWF block logo.
Now, I know that you're not going to get how much it cost out, but do you know where they got it from so that way we can maybe find more belts?
So it was like a third-party seller on Amazon.
Okay.
So
there was almost no guarantee that it would come in.
Dude, I was wondering for a while. But the fact that it did and it's here, I told Jen about this too. It's like, I have 3 championships in my possession. This one, the Intercontinental title, and the Wrestling Trivia Challenge one. I have spent a total of $9 on all 3 championships. Because the Intercontinental title, I won a contest to get like a WWE shop gift card, so that cut like almost all the cost out of that.
Yeah.
The Trivia Challenge one was a gift from a bunch of people. And then this one I got for free. So it's like, can't complain, can you?
At all.
But yes, I am hoping that this is a championship that I can celebrate a national championship with for Notre Dame. Tomorrow's a big day.
He'll be able to take a celebratory picture. Dude, I'm really hoping for a Notre Dame natty.
If the first month of 2025 includes me getting a Winged Eagle and a Notre Dame national championship, it's going to be a damn good year.
That's all we can hope for.
Because I have wanted this. I've wanted both things since I was a kid. I got one.
You have not. You said you have not been around for the Notre Dame natty, right?
I've been alive for one. I was born in '86, and they won it in '88. So I've been alive for one.
So you couldn't celebrate it?
No, I couldn't celebrate. I couldn't speak English when they won their last one. So to have that moment, and especially to have it with my dad, who got me into Notre Dame football, to have that moment with him, that's what I want. More than anything, that's what I want. So 2 games away from that possibly happening.
Come on, Notre Dame.
That's what I'm hoping for, man. But Dynamite is on in just a couple minutes. And of course, guys, join the Royal Raffle or tell people about it. Let's get this thing going. Because we got people involved. I mentioned Maven. Maven's involved in it. Sent in a massive donation for it. One that I did not expect at all. So the charity's getting paid decently this year. I'll say that much. So get your support in for the Royal Raffle. We will be drawing those numbers in 3 weeks' time, so there's still plenty of time to enter. And I'm going to push this on social media every single day. Get people involved. Even if they don't like wrestling, even if they don't care about wrestling, you can still win this. You don't have to know shit about it. Just get involved. $5 an entry for the men's, $5 an entry for the women's. And
I just got my entry in for each.
What's that?
I just got my entry in for each.
Oh, did you send it?
I sent it via PayPal.
Oh, nice. I didn't even see it come across. But yeah, I'll put that in the pool and we'll go from there. So yeah, get your entries in. There is no limit to how many times you can enter. I've had a limit before, but this year it's just like, if you want 5 entries in each match, take them. But I'm going to draw, assuming that we have 30 unique people in each match. That's how I want to draw them, and then draw all the rest of the numbers after. Because there are people who have already entered multiple times. They're going to get their multiple entries, but I'm going to draw the unique ones on air in 3 weeks. So that's how I'm going to do that. But until next week, for Matty Laws, I am Greg Cherry. This has been the Greg Cherry Show. Have a good night. Don't be a Jag. Go Irish. And we'll see you next week on the Greg Cherry Show.
Go Denver. Go Steelers.
Oh, yeah. Steelers playing too.